Well, happy Saturday, everyone. Greetings from the No Kings rally in Philadelphia. I'm at my hotel getting ready to go. Michelle's preparing as well. She's not joining us this morning because she's getting herself together. However, we have Julie Roginsky joining us from at least not a bomb shelter, but she's in Tel
No.
Aviv, folks. Julie is in Tel Aviv in the middle of this hot war that's happening now between Israel and Iran. We've all been praying for her and her safety. And I'm just happy to see your face, Julie. Seriously, we've all been just beside
I
ourselves watching
know.
what's going on with you.
Well, thank you. And good to see everybody today. I thought I'd hop on for a little bit. I am on the beach actually in Tel Aviv. As you can see, it's kind of a little crowded, not too crowded, but people are living their lives and going about their business. We're expecting more missiles to come in tonight. So we decided to maybe get out in the air for a little bit while we can. I haven't really slept in a few nights because we've had to run down to the bomb shelter for the last few nights, several times a night, and wait there for a while, which obviously makes going back to sleep a little hard.
Yeah.
But I am here and I am desperately trying to get home. So we'll see what happens. But for now, everybody's okay and safe. And I just wanted to join. And so many people have just been so wonderful on Substack and on social media and just everywhere else sending me messages when they found out I was here. I wanted people to just see proof of life. And here it is. So good to see everybody.
We're so grateful for that, and it's
Yeah.
amazing technology, and Joe's going to be joining us in a couple minutes. We can blame the line at Dunkin' Donuts, folks. That's what's happening. Joe's on her way. She's coming. um it's amazing the technology that we have, because
I
literally
know.
when so my husband and I were in Philadelphia. We drove from DC to come to the No Kings rally here today. Marcus Flowers from Hold the Line is here with us as well. He's going to be hopping in the conversation in a minute. And like, we were literally signal chatting with each other while the bombs were flying over Tel Aviv. Julie was in a bomb shelter with her son and her husband, and like, we were all keeping each other abreast of what was going on. It was pretty remarkable that we could at least do that. And um I'm just glad that we still had the ability to have those conversations and stay in contact, because it's harrowing. I just cannot even imagine what you guys are going through. How's your son holding up?
So he's, he's a trooper. He's been pretty good. I assume that when we get home, he's going to be probably a little bit more traumatized than he's letting on right now. He's trying to, hey, Joe, he's trying to be brave about the whole situation. I think being obviously with us and certainly holding my hand throughout all this is helpful to him.
Yeah.
But I can't listen. He's 13 years old. He's very aware of what's happening. We actually were having dinner with some cousins who live here last night, and we saw the interception. So he watched all of that take place, like literally in front of him, which he thought was cool. But it's cool on paper and it's cool watching it
Right.
on TV. It's not Star Wars is not so cool when you're actually watching it in real life. And then we had to run down to the shelter and stay there for a long time, 3 times actually last night. So that was a little harrowing. And I think the biggest problem for us is not this. I feel pretty safe in these shelters and very confident in the military here, and also in the fact that a lot of these are getting shot down before they make it to Tel Aviv, where we are. The part that I think is a little bit frightening for us is the uncertainty of how we get home, because I
Yeah.
assume they're going to be shutting down. I assume they're going to be shutting down the airports here for the foreseeable future, and so that part, trying to figure out how to get out of here and what to do. And as you know, Israel is surrounded by countries that are not particularly friendly to it. A lot of them are not hostile anymore, but not necessarily friendly, especially in light of what's been going on with Gaza recently. And so, as a result of that, I think um, it's been a little harrowing. I'll tell you what is surprising to me, however, when I have said that I tweeted out, or maybe I did it on Blue Sky, that we were in a shelter and having missiles fall overhead, how many people who then I looked them up and are all self-proclaimed progressives told me that I deserved it,
Oh my God.
because this is what I did to Palestine. That I did this to Palestinians, and therefore I deserved the same thing to happen to me. And I just want to clarify something. First of all, I didn't do anything. The reason
Wow.
that we're in Israel is I'm not Israeli. I'm American. The reason we're here is because my son's bar mitzvah was on Monday, and so we were here for that.
Mm. Uh-oh. We lost Julie for a minute. I'll finish her sentence for her. her son, it was really important to her for her son to have his bar mitzvah at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. And so she's been planning this for a long time. And that's why they're there. And so, like, I'm so disgusted by that. And this is wrong. It's just wrong. And I, you know, I cannot. I just cannot. I know Marcus wanted to say something to Julie. He's here with me. Come on, Marcus, come on over. But hopefully maybe we'll get Julie back for a couple minutes because Marcus is a combat veteran, everyone. Marcus Flowers.
Hey, everybody.
Former candidate for Congress against Marjorie Taylor Greene down in the great state of Georgia. He runs Hold the Line PAC. He's one of Seneca Project's partner organizations. We're so grateful for Marcus and his support. And he also has a new PAC with Malcolm Nance called FAFO. You can determine what that means all you want, but
I won't leave you guessing. I won't leave you guessing. It's Focus Actions with Focus Objectives PAC. But you can use FAFO interchangeably if you want, but that's what we're all about, is bringing focus action with focus objectives against this administration. I mean, it's a double-fisted, in-your-face, get-it-done type of PAC. So we're here today, and first and foremost, let me say happy birthday, Army. Let's not forget what today is really about, the Army's 250th birthday. As an Army veteran, I'm proud of my service and those who continue to serve and the veterans that we have all over the nation. I want to make sure that they're not forgotten about today.
That's right.
But, today we're going to tell the guy who wants his military parade for his birthday also that this isn't about you. This is about those of us who've served honorably, and those of us who continue to serve this nation. We're going to get out and remind people of that today.
Right. Damn right. That's why I'm decked out like I'm, the Grand Marshal of the 4th of July parade, because part of the No Kings protest today is that we are representing the flag. It is our flag. It's our country. It's our military. I'm so thrilled to be able to be a part of this, and with having Marcus here and being around other folks like him who have served, who are pissed off about what's going on, and we're taking a stand. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing people in the chat from all over the world. We just had someone say that they're watching us from Portugal. We have our Canadian brethren that watch us all the time. These No Kings protests, Joe, are like 1,800, almost 2,000 strong. Yeah. And all over the world. I'm seeing pictures from Tokyo, from London. Like, this is amazing. I can't wait to see what it's like out there. Unfortunately, it's nasty weather here in Philadelphia. It's a little chilly and rainy, but I don't care. I've got my blingy USA hat. I've got my American flag covered up. I have my American Girls Never Back Down Seneca shirt here. We're ready to go. I've got my American flags.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, because we talked about this. We've talked about this so many times. And I just want to let everybody also tuning in now, or who's been with us all along, that Julie lost her connection. She can't get back on.
Okay.
She said thank you very much for just for all your good thoughts and good and positive vibes and energy sent her way and her family's way. We're definitely sending Julie all the good wishes and safety. We're channeling that for Julie, and I would just I want to talk about a couple things, Tara, because you are exactly right in the way that you are dressing right now, because this. They want people they want to gaslight us into believing that this is anti-American, but protesting is the embodiment of the American spirit, is our origin story. And so it has to be clear as day. And Tara, you are making it clear, girl, and I love you.
Would you expect anything less from me?
No. And I love it, because this is exactly what Americans do. This is the spirit that we embody, and we stand up and we speak out and we force change. And we do it peacefully. And that is exactly what today is about. And Marcus, thank you so much for being here. As we've talked about a lot on this show, and it's just something that is elemental to who I am. The military is very important to me, the Army in particular. My dad was an Army reservist. He worked for the DOD for 50 plus years. I basically grew up on an Army base here in New Jersey. I spent all summer long there because my dad was a single dad. So he would take us to work with us at 7 a.m. in the summers when we were home from school. He'd drop us off in front of the pool at the arsenal that didn't open until 10 or 11. And so we would sit there and wait. for the pool to open. We didn't have cell phones back then or anything. And then he would, we'd wait for the 5 o'clock cannon. And at 5 o'clock, he would come from happy hour at the officers club with some chips and cheese and napkins. He'd have one drink. My dad was not a drinker, but he did it for the social things. And then we'd get in the station wagon and we would go home. And he took
Oh
us.
my gosh, not the station wagon.
Oh yeah, the Chevy Caprice, the classic one with the back, the way back, yeah, with the face the other way.
That is the like we're all Gen Xers, okay?
Yeah.
We're all within about a year of each other in age. So like the station wagon visual with the dad and the kids is like taking us all back to growing up in the 80s. Like, oh my God.
And the way back was the best. I was the youngest of 5, so my oldest siblings, my brother and my 2 sisters, they all sat in the middle, which I think to me was overrated. And then my sister Kim and I got to sit in the way back. She was the second youngest, so that was the best. But my dad took us to every Armed Forces Day. I have every single member of my family has served in one of the branches or another. This is very important to me. The Army in particular is very near and dear to my heart. So the fact that Donald Trump is attempting to co-opt this day, it hurts my heart. 5-time draft dodger. We've talked about this. He has repeatedly, incessantly disrespected and dishonored our military. And I was just reminded today of something I had forgotten about, which was when he skipped the dignified transfer of remains of the soldiers who died in Lithuania. He hasn't even talked about what's going on in Iran right now, and he's going to have them parachute down an American flag. And it's such a spit in the face.
Disgusting. The display that they're trying to do today. When we got back, we had a get together. We had a little dinner last night, and I watched some CNN before I went to bed, and just watching the imagery of what this parade is going to look like and what they're doing made me sick to my stomach. And no one's going to tell someone like Marcus who spent the majority of his adult life serving this country that he's anti-patriotic or that he's somehow not supporting the troops because we're standing up against a man who is making a mockery of what our military is, who disrespects it, and because he's just using this as a strongman tactic to make his little penis feel bigger. We just can't do it. Yeah. It is forever the small in the pants parade, Joe. Thank you for the moniker.
Forever.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Love
I know
it.
you have something to say about it.
That's the thing. That's very important to dovetail off of that. That's what people need to remember and understand, that we support our troops. We support the military. Army veteran couldn't be more proud of the men and women who are serving today. Some of my family members as well who are still serving. Luckily, they don't have to show up for this in DC today, but thank those guys for their service. We support our troops. We don't support a mad king. We got to remember back in 1775, that's what we were fighting against in the Army, a mad king. Now we've got a guy who would be a mad king, politicizing the military and just making this about him. This is his Kim Jong-il moment and Putin moment where he gets to watch tanks and MLRS rocket launchers going down Pennsylvania Avenue,
which should never happen.
Should never happen.
Not in this capacity. Not in this capacity, right? I mean, let's be clear. CNN has been using this false equivalency, showing pictures from the 1991 parade that we had after the Gulf War, the first one in 91. Okay, it is not the fucking same.
No,
this is not the same. Like, I'm so tired. I'm so over the whataboutism and the false equivalencies. This is not the same thing here. Okay.
No.
So everyone who is protesting today, who is standing up, who's speaking out, do not be afraid to explain that this is not the same thing and that we need to stop trying to normalize what's happening today in Washington. It's that this is not normal. It's never happened before. It's un-American. And we are the ones, and especially those of us here in Philadelphia, which was the birthplace of our American democracy with our Declaration of Independence and the significance of being here in Philadelphia. This is what it's about here, not what's happening in Washington, D.C., which is unfortunate that the men and women in the military who don't have a choice are being forced to do this.
And let's not forget, Tara, that when that parade happened in 91, we did not have a commander-in-chief who was attacking our military community, our veteran community, firing them in record numbers, disparaging them, demeaning them, insulting them, questioning their service, disrespecting and dishonoring Arlington National Cemetery. We did not have a commander-in-chief at the helm at that time who was so blatantly and unabashedly and unapologetically using the men and women of our military as props to soothe his ego. Look, we can argue all day long about the presidents that we've had in the past and the conflicts that we've been in the past and the reasons for why. Donald Trump is different. He is one of one. No other president in our nation's history has spit in the faces of the men and women who serve this country as repeatedly and often as he has. He has spit on the legacies and graves of the greatest generation that ever fought and died for this country, for us to be able to fight the fascists that he cozies up to.
That's right. And still does. Like, he's still doing it every day.
Losers and suckers.
That's right. Like, every day. In 1991, to your point, Joe, George H.W. Bush was a war hero. He was shot down. He was a Navy pilot, right? I mean, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, it's insane. And I am in a headspace now that, like, if anyone challenges me on that, or any of these MAGAs try to come up here and say, oh, you're against the army or whatever, you don't like the military, blah, blah, I shudder for the people on the receiving end of what will come out of my mouth after that. Okay. I'm just saying.
1,000%. Marcus, can you talk a little bit about what Donald Trump has been doing, particularly to our veteran community in all of these mass firings and what he's done to the VA?
I mean, they're all about privatizing the VA. I mean, for all of the issues that people have with long wait times and having to travel far to get VA healthcare, I'm one of them. I live in a rural area in Georgia and I have to travel for my care. They're trying to gut it and privatize it to make money, which is only going to make the services horrible for our veterans out there who deserve the best care that they can possibly get. I mean, I was up on the Hill protesting them gutting the VA, and Doug Collins, who's someone from Georgia who's running the VA right now. It is just ridiculous to see what they're doing there. And this big, beautiful bill, veterans are always the low-hanging fruit when I look at it. We're always the one that they go after first. Those of us who serve with dignity and respect for this country, for this nation, and took our oath seriously. We have to come back when our health is failing. And I've had many brothers and sisters who've lost limbs and eyesight and what have you. And this is what they do to us. This administration, who claims to be so pro-veteran, but their actions, their bills, and the things that they're pushing through are all about hurting veterans and hurting the military, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And
sickening to me. It gets me every time to think about this guy who, again, couldn't go serve his country because he had bone spurs or what have you, and then has the audacity to call us losers and suckers and ask what was in it for us. Well, it wasn't about us. It was about the country. It was about the Constitution, which they seem to think is not important anymore. They can do whatever the hell they want to. Constitution be damned. Well, we swore an oath to that Constitution, not to a king.
That oath part that you keep coming back to is so important, because what he wants is for them to swear an oath to him, not to the Constitution, not to the people of this country, to him. He has federal workers signing loyalty pledges as we speak. That's why he put someone like Pete Hegseth, who, by the way, where the fuck is Pete Hegseth as all of this is unfolding in Iran and Israel? He put a sycophant in charge of the Department of Defense, someone wholly unqualified to be in that position.
A TV talk show host, a weekend talk show host that has heavy-handed with the bottle and a philanderer who has done nothing but bloviate for the last multiple years. Thank you for his service, whenever that was, whenever he did it, but you're not qualified to run the Department of Defense. And there's really serious shit happening in the world, and this is the guy that's in charge of our nuclear arsenal and the greatest military on the face of the planet. I mean, it's insane, and the fact that this is just glossed over, like every single time that Pete Hegseth is on television or testifying in front of Congress, people need to mention the fact that he has zero experience as the SecDef. Like, you look at the list of people who came before him, and then this guy's pedigree. There's we should all be concerned. You think?
Yeah.
Government business for serious people.
Exactly.
And someone who's a captain in the military. Again, thank you for your service. Pete, but you are indeed wholly unqualified to be running DOD.
Right.
Full stop.
And the reason he's there is because he will do whatever Donald Trump, who is a narcissistic, sociopath, insane fucking person with no regard, as well established already today, for our military, Pete Hegseth will say, yes, sir, whatever it is. And by the way, one of the things that I don't want anyone to sleep on is the fact that if you guys remember that Gallagher guy, that fucking monster who was shooting children, teenagers, old men in was it Afghanistan or Iraq? I forget. That guy that was found guilty, right, of misusing his position in the military to terrorize, right? Pete Hegseth went to bat for him and is the reason he got a pardon by Donald Trump. So all of this, again, they excuse atrocities when it serves them while disrespecting and dishonoring our troops. And right now, as we speak, we have U.S. Marines deployed in the city of Los Angeles to detain American citizens. And what did they do? The first person they detained, and God bless the Marines. My brother was a Marine. May my brother rest in peace. God bless them. This is not what they're for. They're detaining American citizens, and the first one they detained was a U.S. vet. That's what they're doing. That's what he's using our Marines to do. That is not what they're designed to do. That is not what they train to do. That is not what we're supposed to be looking at in terms of seeing U.S. Marines on our city streets that don't need them there, period, full stop.
Also, comitatus. We're not supposed to be operating on U.S. soil. Full stop.
Yeah. That should be like the lead explainer in every newscast when they're talking about what's happening on the streets of Los Angeles and what's happening with these other red state governors that are activating their National Guard unnecessarily, that people need to be educated on what posse comitatus is, why it matters, why it's there in the first place, and why what these folks are doing and what Trump is doing with our National Guard, militarizing the streets of our cities, is un-American. We fought a fucking war against this. Like, this is not what they're supposed to be used for. And, you know, a lot of Americans, if you were to walk down the street right now, even in some place like Philadelphia, I guarantee you no one could tell you what posse comitatus is. 90%, maybe, and that's a shame, because that's a failure on our part as a country that we don't teach civics anymore.
Oh God.
That's why but they're counting on that. They're counting on the ignorance of the American people, just going along with what Trump is doing and the bullshit that he feeds people every single day about this, that they just accept it. You can't fight for something if you don't appreciate what it means or why you should fight for it. Right. That's partly why we do what we do every day, to help educate people so that they can educate others. Because it's damn sure not happening in our schools, and it's not happening in our media. And meantime, we're fighting against a propaganda machine that is well financed, well committed, and well organized. So we're up against a lot. But today is one of those days where the righteous anger of the American people worldwide is going to send a message. I feel very strongly about this. I'm not confident the media is going to cover it properly, but that's why we have independent sources and abilities to do this. We can, you know, we have social media and other platforms where we're able to blast out what's really happening on the ground today.
That's what I want to ask you about real fast, Tara, because I think this is important on a day like today. That propaganda machine that's been spinning and the legacy media has been so susceptible to, willingly or not. They've been spinning a few narratives that we need to dispel so that people feel comfortable, confident, secure, safe today. Some of the narratives are that these are not peaceful protests, that these are riots, etc. Some of the other propagandizing is that these peaceful protests will be put down by the military, by the National Guard, etc. And people are worried to go out. I will disclose fully, in the interest of transparency, that my 12-year-old daughter, when I told her I was going today, she started crying and she said, "They're going to kill you. They're going to murder you. Please don't go. I beg you." So we're going to be making signs and standing in the driveway and hoping people honk. But this is the world we live in, where my 12-year-old is afraid that her mom will get murdered for standing up and speaking out for her country. But Tara, can you help, first of all, dispel some of the propagandizing that these are not peaceful protests, that people should not come out, that if they do, they will be met with, you know, military force?
Yeah, that is absolutely, first of all, that breaks my heart to hear. And it makes me just so angry. And but even more motivated. Like this is what our kids are looking at our country and thinking this is what it is now because of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to do everything we can to show them that it's not going, it doesn't have to be this way. I mean, there's part of it that's true. I mean, he's created this environment. MAGAs have created this environment. And every person who voted for him, they have created this environment. I hope they're proud of themselves. Okay. I have no patience whatsoever for people who are making excuses for, well, this is not what I voted for. Yes, it is. Okay. And now you have to take responsibility for it. And you know what? It's not too late to fix it. So, you know, we'll do something about it and fix it. Yeah. And that's what we're out here doing. That's number one. Number two, these protests are peaceful. And anyone, the agitators and people that might come out there to try to disrupt that, those are not the people who are part of the No Kings movement. Okay, there has been nothing but emphasis on peaceful protesting, on getting into good trouble, as the late John Lewis would say, right? Like you saw what the civil rights movement went through and why it was important for peaceful protest. And we are hoping that it doesn't turn the way that did. But the righteous anger of the American people peacefully is a very powerful visual. There is power in numbers. And so for those who are going out to protest today, please do it peacefully. There are resources on the nokings.org website that should show you what your rights are, what you should do if you are confronted. There is, that is really, really, really important. And so, like, if you are confronted by agitators, walk away from them. Do not engage them. If the police try to do so, sit down. They tell you to sit down with your hands up so that they can't say that you're being aggressive at all. The other thing too is that if you don't feel comfortable, or if you're in one of these protests and you feel it starting to go a way it shouldn't, have an exit plan. And you should also go with a buddy. They tell you to go with a buddy so you have another person. They tell you to have emergency phone numbers, with you. Some say don't bring your phones. I mean, I'm gonna have my phone with me, but like just be smart. Just be smart. Just be smart. And I feel like it's going to overwhelmingly be peaceful, but you just always have to have a plan, have a backup to the backup, as my law enforcement husband always says. Just be smart about it. But they want to intimidate us. That's what they want to do. And we can't let them do it. We can't. We just can't. There's always risk in democracy. There's risk in speaking up. There's, but it's got to be worth the risk. But everyone has their own level of risk aversion and risk tolerance. So you do what you're most comfortable with. Joe, you're making I love that you're going to be in your garage and in your driveway with your flags and everything. It's still taking a stand and making your voices heard. And that applies to everyone. If you aren't physically able to go out to a protest, listen, not everybody can.
Yeah.
Do it in your driveway. That's right. You can have your little sign in your driveway, post pictures of you and post it on social media. You can still get your voice out there. Every single one of us matters.
And your form of protest could also be choosing today to text a family member or a friend, or say something to the clerk at the grocery store or at the gym. That could be your form of participating today. Like you said, Tara, this is not one size fits all. It's not all, tailor-made for each individual person. We can do that by finding our own ways to participate, because that is the key to democracy. Democracy requires our participation. And the less we do that, the more power and control they can exert over us. And the further along that gets, the harder and harder it gets for us to reclaim it. This right now, every day, every moment is the new line. We have to meet that line, and we have to meet it in whatever ways we can. And for everybody, that's going to look different. But I mean, we have to talk to each other. We have to empower each other. We have to embolden each other in this moment to stand up and speak out in whatever ways that we can. And Tara, I am so proud. First of all, thank you, Marcus, for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your service. But Tara, I'm so proud to know you and to know that you're going to be marching through the streets of the birthplace of this little experiment of ours. I want you to march for me today, march for my daughter, march for my son, march for all those who can't. I am I'm filled with pride to know you. You are a constant and perpetual inspiration for me. And I know you love this country. And that's the other part, that I refuse to let them take that away from us. I refuse to let them tell me that because I speak out and stand up and criticize that I don't love my country, because that's bullshit.
That's
That is
right.
bullshit. And I know you, and I know Marcus, and I know that this is about loving your country.
Listen, we do it because we love our country. We do it because we love our country. This is a form of saying thank you and expressing love to this great country, and that we're not going to let those bastards take this from us. They don't get to do this. They don't. We are America. We don't do kings, and we're going to make sure they know that. And it's hard to express how important this is for everyone, but we do it for those who don't, even for the people who don't appreciate what we're doing. That's part of what we do as citizens in this country. And it's emotional for me too, because it's like, what are we doing? But it's a privilege and an honor to be out there in the streets with my fellow Americans, and for doing this on behalf of the people that don't have the voices to do it. It is a privilege that we still have the freedom to do this in this country for now. And we're not going to let that bastard take that away from us today.
For me, there is no greater form of patriotism than getting out and letting your voice be heard. I mean, I'm from Troy, Alabama, the birthplace of John Lewis, the birthplace of getting into good trouble, birthplace of civil disobedience.
That's right.
A man who is a giant in my state. I mean, my grandmother knew him. I never got the chance to actually meet him because I spent 20 years overseas serving the country. But just to do this little thing for me is to get out, stand up, let my voice be heard, do it for those who can't do it. I mean, it's not about draping yourself in the American flag. I want to say this one more time, make this clear. As an Army veteran, I am not protesting the military.
That's right.
Never will I do that.
That's right.
Never. For all the things that it gave me, I'm full on with my brothers and sisters in uniform.
We do it to honor them.
Yeah.
I will not stand by and let the military be politicized and weaponized against our citizenry. That's a hard stop for me, a hard no.
Yep.
So this is why I do it. I do it because that oath, you were all worth it to me when I took it at 18 years old and swore it again and again to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That's right.
I believe that more Americans are actually here, are actually in this place, right? Than they want us to believe. I don't think this is a partisan issue really at all. I think this comes down to our freedom. And I think when you ask across the political spectrum, what are you willing to abandon? How far are you willing to hand your rights, your freedoms, your autonomy to a tyrant? That across the political spectrum, more Americans will say, you know what? This is not me. I'm not okay with this. We don't do kings in this country. I don't want a king. I don't want to hand my power over to one man. I don't want my military to be used as just props in an ego fucking birthday parade. I actually think more Americans are right here than they want us to believe.
That's right. Yeah. That's absolutely right. Like, just now, so we're in the lobby of our hotel, and a family just came over, and we're in like a lounge area, and a family just came over and they were listening to what we were talking about. And I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think they were MAGA.
Oh, wow.
And I hope they heard every word that we just said, because they sat down to listen and then they got up just now. Truth hurt a little bit. Just the truth hurt, because if they were on our side, they would have said, go, that's right. Thank you for doing this. There wouldn't have been an acknowledgement. But how you sit there, and you know what? They got up and quietly slunk away, because you know what? You fucking people are the reason why we're in this situation right now. And if you can't take the truth and you can't handle it, you have to walk away from it. But at least they heard us, and now they're going to have to think about it. It was a mother, a father, and their 2 daughters. So I hope they think they hear everything that we just said and they think about it.
As they walk around the birthplace of American democracy.
That's right. Say that again, Marcus.
If it stings a little bit, you might want to think about why it stings. Yeah. Everything that's going on now is antithetical to who we are as a country, how we were formed.
I would like those MAGA people to explain to me how tanks in the street and active duty Marines detaining American citizens is making America great again. I would like them to explain that to me.
The irony, Tara, of the fact that they are probably setting foot today to go and look at the sites where this democracy was founded, where with those who were responsible for shaping the course of our history as a country, as a democracy, as a democratic republic, that they're going to be walking around Philadelphia today while actively endorsing and supporting someone who is antithetical to all of that, someone who looks at the founding of this country and says, that's not for me. I don't want to work in those rules. I want to be the supreme leader of all. I want to be a king. The king, the origin story of this country, he wants to bring us back to that point. And they're going to be walking around the Liberty Bell, and what you said and what they heard you said, whether or not they will be willing to articulate or admit it out loud, it's in there. They're going to be thinking about it. It's going to be implanted in their little cognitive dissonance brains. And those little girls, I don't know how old they were, it's going to be
They
in
were
there
teenagers.
too.
They were
It's going to be in there
teenagers.
too. And somewhere there's going to be a collision of these two things, because you can't hold these two truths at the same time. You cannot hold yourself up to be a patriot who loves American democracy and support Donald J. Trump.
Period. Full stop, Joe. You are 100% right about that. And that's exactly why they need to hear this. You cannot reconcile both of those things together. You are 100% correct. And our presence doing this, especially with people like Marcus who are veterans and others who have sworn that oath, you have to face that cognitive dissonance. You have to face that contradiction that you cannot hold both of those principles at the same time. Make them explain it.
Yeah.
And they can't.
No.
And they can't.
And let us not forget, by the way, in addition to that, and part of that, is that Donald Trump inspired and incited an insurrection, a violent and deadly insurrection against the citadel of our democracy, in order to continue to be in an office he lost. And now he is back, and they have whitewashed and sane-washed and erased so much of that truth. We cannot ever forget that. We have to continue to shine a light on it. They used our flags. Speaking of the flag, they used our flags to beat our police, to break into our Capitol.
That's right. That's one thing you're not going to see today. You're not going to see any of us taking the American flag or taking our American flags and beating police officers with them under the name of patriotism. Okay? That's something you're definitely not going to see today. And if you see that with anyone, then that's how you know that they are agitators that are infiltrating what we're doing. Because no one that is out there in the streets today would ever dare disrespect our flag and our law enforcement officers and our military by doing that. Unlike Donald Trump's MAGA cult members, okay, who are not the patriots. They're the ones that we actually are standing up against. They disrespect what it means to be a patriot. And so you will never see that today. And that was the point of this. And that is why everyone is out there in their American flag regalia with our signs, making that very, very clear that this is actually what patriotism looks like, not January 6th and not what they're doing and what they did.
Right. And you saw that those disabled veterans that did the sit-in on Capitol steps that were arrested last night. I don't know if you saw that on the news, but they went over one barricade and then they sat peacefully and they protested peacefully and they used their voices and they used their words and they used their presence to make it clear that they're not going away, that they're not going to just be quiet. And an 80-year-old veteran was arrested. And again, it is their right to protest. And that was a peaceful protest. And they didn't run up the stairs and bash in the windows or attack any of the police. When the police came, they sat down and they complied, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That we can use our voices to make a difference peacefully. They want violence. Donald Trump would like nothing more than for people to behave in a way today that gives him a soundbite and a video clip to say, these people hate America. Don't give it to him. Don't.
That's exactly right. That's what they're looking for. Don't give it to them. And, we're going to give it to them in another way. And taking a stand, rising up, making our voices heard. And, again, to everyone who's watching, if you're going to participate today, listen, my 71-year-old mom is out there. She was making signs last night. She's going to be out there. She's not here in Philly. She's in her local town doing it. And like, that is amazing. It's across generations, and you there with your daughter, that is going to matter to her. She's going to remember that. Part of why this is so important to me is that I remember every 4th of July parade that my grandfather marched in, whether he was marching with the police officers or the fire department that year, depending on which side he decided to go on. I remember those things. I remember decorating my bicycle and my things for 4th of July parades in Paramus, New Jersey every year. My grandfather is a World War II veteran and a police officer and marched in every parade in my hometown from 1947 until he was wheeled in a wheelchair in 2016 at 90 years old, because he would not miss a parade. I do this for his legacy and what that means. That's why we do this. And we're not going to let those bastards take this from us. We're not.
Absolutely.
We are not. So for everyone that's out there, we all have our own motivations and why we do it, but it's because we love this country, not because we hate it. They do, not us. So take that stand today. I'm doing it for all of them. Rest in peace, Gramps. But everybody.
Right on.
You got me all up in the feels. That's it, though. That's it.
Right
like,
on.
I don't know if there's anything else to add. I will just say this. Thank you. I love you. It's so true that it's why we do this, because we love our country. And if you were waiting and hesitating to get out there and you feel like you can, there are protests all over this country. My state, Jersey, Tara, has like freaking 30. Morristown, Newton, Somerville, the Perth Amboy, Newark, Jersey City. Guys, you can go online. No Kings, I think. NoKings.org. You can text like 6, I'll find the number, but you can text the number to find out where the closest protest is to you. Like, if you were hesitating and maybe you thought, I don't want to, or I'm afraid or whatever, like, listen to what Tara and Marcus have said. This is our moment. This is our moment. Every single day we meet the moment, and we don't let up, and we do it peacefully, but we do it powerfully, and we do it passionately. And if you just saw Tara's passion, like, friends, that's what it's all about. That's the moment that we're in. We've been in these moments before. Marcus, you were talking about John Lewis. We've been in these moments before. Our country is built on fight. It is built on standing up and doing the hard thing, because that is what democracy requires, and participation. I keep coming back to that. So if we all do a little, then no one has to do it all. And I'm so grateful to the both of you. I'm so grateful to everybody except for the fucking trolls who can fuck all the way off, that has been here in the chat. And I hope, Tara, I keep thinking about that family. I really do hope that family spends a little bit of time soul searching today, even if they do it without articulating it, because the dichotomy of being in Philadelphia and honoring and touring these places and spaces that were the foundation of this country, this little experiment of ours that we are working so hard to perfect, that they could support potentially someone who wants to dismantle it all. I hope so.
I hope so. And I hope those daughters, they may not have the agency to speak out against their parents' decisions, but I hope that it sits with them, what they heard Marcus saying and what they heard me say, and they think about that as they move forward and question what they see and what's going on. And, you never know. The lesson here is, you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching, and you never know what impact you may have, what a word or action of yours may have on somebody's life moving forward. Who knows? Those girls may remember one day that, we were in Philadelphia with our parents, and we heard these two people talking about the importance of standing up for the flag, and what was happening in Washington, D.C. with Donald Trump was not okay. And it made me think twice. Who knows? Maybe we're being Pollyanna about it, maybe not, but you just never know the power of your words and actions as individuals.
At least I got to hear it from a veteran who, if they wanted to ask me about it, I'd tell them it was my pleasure to serve because you were worth it. And I agree with you. If you disagree with me,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I did it, so that you can disagree with me, but we can do it civilly.
Right.
You can be civil about it.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a place we need to get back to.
Yes.
Right now, it's going to take some righteous indignation, which is what Tara and I are showing right now.
What we're doing today.
To push back on a guy who would be king.
That's right.
And destroy this experiment of ours. Democracy isn't free. We can't take it for granted any longer.
That's right.
We have those who are actively trying to destroy it. A not insignificant portion of this country has been radicalized by far-right media and the likes of Donald Trump to think, well, maybe this isn't worth it anymore. Maybe we need a king. Maybe we need a dictator. I say hell no to that.
Hell no. Because why? Because we are America and we don't do kings.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we don't do, and you'll never, ever, ever change or influence anyone if you sit by quietly or you hide in the shadows. That's the one thing. We may never know how you influenced or changed those people, those kids, that family, but you wouldn't have had an opportunity to, and if you had just stayed silent and done nothing. So
silence is not an option.
Not an option.
Not an option. So we're gonna go, but just thanks to everyone, to the almost 13,000 people who have joined us live on here. This is amazing. We're so privileged and honored and humbled that you guys join us like this on Saturday mornings, that you're with us today. Go out there if you're able to, make your voices heard. Be safe, yeah, this is a surreal moment, and we're just grateful. Honestly, it is an honor and a privilege to be in a position where we can do this. And thank you to everyone that is out there with us. We stand with you. Get your little flags. Doesn't matter what it is. Just get out there and wave it proudly today, and remind people why we're doing this. Happy birthday to our Army. Happy Flag Day. And Donald Trump will never be king as long as we, the people, take a stand and tell him no. And now's the moment. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Tara. The power of the people is much stronger than the people in power. We will never, ever forget that. We will die trying.
That's right. And what else? American girls, never back down.
Go.
We're out there. Go, ladies. Go.
I am the chosen one.
President Trump posted, "Long live the king."
We don't take an oath to a king. We take an oath to the Constitution.
This combat veteran swore an oath to the Constitution, not a lying dictator. I'm part of a coalition that is calling for June 14th to be the single largest day of protest in American history. It's the second American Revolution. It is peaceful. It is people powered. That we decide as the people that we have no kings ever. And that's what June 14th is. No King's Day. I'm asking every person here to commit themselves, their family, their friends, and most importantly, their children. I love this country. I'm begging you, commit to saving this country. Turn out your friends on June 14th. Turn out your relatives. We are the people. We are the people. I am the chosen one.
President Trump posted, "Long live the king."
We don't take an oath to a king. We take an oath to the Constitution.